We are back. We are satiated because I just ate a great meal. Holy smokes. And now we've come to the end of the final case of Apollo Justice. The trial portion is not terribly long, so we'll be able to finish it. We already did a little bit of it earlier today. And the last thing Adrian said was, I'm going to be disappointed if it's Kristoff because I really want to like him.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like both of them, but I feel like Kristoff is a little bit more of a mature friend.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm a little disappointed at the moment.
Well, we'll see how this
Plays out.
goes. All right. To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Kristoff Gavin. Ah, Mr. Justice. I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Ack. Why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Stiff upper lip, Apollo, you can do it. Does this bottle look familiar? Ariadone nail polish? Why, yes, I used it myself. After the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. And was there something concerning this bottle you wish to ask me about? I admit I respect her for her taste in nail polish. Her taste, indeed. This nail polish was how Vera Misham was poisoned. Atroquinine, was it? You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin. Even in solitary, much comes to my desk, and I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier? Maybe you can explain this? You're being accused again. By him again. Ah, and you agree with his accusation, do you? Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Kristoff Gavin, your testimony, please. I'd be delighted. The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant Vera Misham. Please testify on this matter to the court. Owning the same nail polish does not a murderer make. I have been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution case holds she poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father, too.
Actually, we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely. Naturally. For one, I don't even know the Mishams. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice? Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination. I'm accusing Kristoff Gavin, my ex-boss, but I know he poisoned the Mishams. The question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention why.
Our bracelet's reacting too.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Tell me, is this nail polish expensive? Ariadone is a nail polish of the highest order. Not only is it fabulously expensive, but it is made in extremely limited quantities. And you and Vera just happen to both use it. That can't be a coincidence. I'm guessing it's not a coincidence. Huh? It's simple. Ariadone is the best nail polish one can buy, correct? Then if one wanted the best nail polish, one would buy it. That makes sense. Why, it's a bit like my feelings toward my brand-name gavel here. And my silk top hat. Are we all done showing off our refined tastes? Please continue with your tasteful testimony. Let me know if there's anything you want to actually perceive.
That I want to perceive.
Yeah. Do you want me to press this, perceive this?
Press.
but the contents of those letters are closely checked. It would be extremely difficult to send a hit request. Prosecutor Gavin's on the warpath, isn't he? Yeah. And maybe that's a weakness I can turn to my advantage. Are we cool with that? May I continue? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. What would you like?
Present?
The defendant is not dead yet. There are no known cases of someone surviving a troquinine poisoning. You seem to know a lot about a troquinine. I know a lot about a lot of things, which is why I suggest we pick up the pace, or else she'd be short one defendant for what she's worth. The witness will refrain from speaking ill of the ill. My apologies. Shall I continue? The prosecution's case holds she poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself.
Present?
Vera had no reason to want to commit suicide. And also, who would commit suicide by doing their nails? The answer's quite simple, basically. Allow me to explain, beginning with, why did she do it? The answer's quite simple. She couldn't live with her own guilt. Next, why did she use nail polish to poison herself? This too is simple, so she could die doing something that she liked. Something that she liked? Once she saw that the trial wasn't going her way, she knew she would die. And it's not easy to bring poison into a courtroom. Must I explain further? I believe that's clear enough. Crystal clear. Wow, the two brothers together is like a two-man wrecking team. They could use a little more teamwork, though. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father, too. What would you like? Both Vera and Mr. Misham were poisoned with atroquinine. That really can't be a coincidence. The defense is repeating fallacious statements based on conjecture. The prosecution requests concrete, unambiguous proof of the witness's crime. Objection sustained. The defense will please present concrete proof. Does Prosecutor Gavin seem strange to you too? It's like he's all grown up. I think that's how prosecutors are supposed to be, actually. Though he is acting different than usual. I'll bet it has a lot to do with his brother Kristoff being in the room. Well, let's make this testimony count, Apollo. Right, quick and painless. My bracelet should do the trick. Okay, I'm questioning my ex-boss. His testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something as long as I focus. Is there a particular thing he said that you would like to perceive?
Well, she didn't really own the nail polish. He gave it to her as a good luck charm to get her out of the house, right?
Yeah, that's what we're...
So I don't know if that's it.
Yeah.
What's the next one? I mean, that goes back to he gave that to her 7 years ago and told her to take it with her if she ever had to go outside.
Right.
I don't really think it's that one because, I mean, that's a given. We both know that he died. I don't think she attempted to poison herself. She got nervous and went to the good luck charm.
Right.
I think this one, he keeps touching his glasses.
Alright. Man, I never really got a good look at his eyes before. So apparently, you're able to stop during this and look at parts of his body. Oh boy, that's kind of a scar. I didn't realize you could do this.
Gotcha!
Oh, crap. Mr. Gavin, you're nervous about something. There is that finger pointing at me so rudely. I goofed up. And that desperate gleam in your eyes is quite disturbing, actually. Perhaps because you have no faith in your own logic, which is why you cling to your dubious power. Confident or no, I've come a long way, Mr. Gavin. Just a little more to go. I need a word. There must be some word that sends shivers down his spine. Sorry about that. Crap! What am I doing? I am totally ruining the mood. Let's try this again.
I haven't seen him do anything.
Are you sweating in your armpits too?
No.
Ooh.
His arms, oh, his veins are bursting.
Good grief.
That's a skull, huh?
Yeah.
Gotcha!
It was you who killed Drew Misham. A bluff worthy of your new mentor, Mr. Wright. Oh, really? But you see, I saw it. Right when you said her father, too. Your hand tensed unnaturally, and a little devil appeared to give me the news. And let's assume for the sake of argument that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Misham fond of nail polish, too? Sorry, but there's more to than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get to someone's mouth. Then I must be very talented indeed. You see, Drew Misham was killed on October 6th, while I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. If that's not an alibi, then I don't know what is. But you found a way all the same, and I found it too.
Oh.
This is how you poisoned Mr. Misham.
The stamp. Or the letter with the stamp on it, I guess.
Or maybe either one works. This stamp, it's of the Grammarius, isn't it? Why did Mr. Wright give me this letter right before the trial? What could it mean? Oh yeah, there's nothing in it, because you have to give the... My. And here I thought you'd come so far. Huh? I admire how you, lacking any confidence whatsoever, choose to barrel on. Your defense lacks even a shred of elegance. Much like Phoenix Wright, come to think of it.
So is it the stamp then?
I think it's the stamp. Relax, Justice. I've come this far, I must know the answer. How did the killer get to his victim when the killer was in jail? This is how you poisoned Mr. Misham. I'm sure this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. The night Mr. Misham died, he was seen writing a letter. Atroquinine was found on this stamp, Mr. Gavin. So am I to understand this stamp was the murder weapon? Yes, you are. Oh, and yes, this stamp was found in your prison cell. That is all, Your Honor. Order, order, order. Poison on the back of that stamp. After Drew Misham was killed, someone paid a visit to this witness's cell. Phoenix Wright. Daddy? That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Misham write you a letter. That's how you killed him. What? My. Oh, he's my-mying again. You've upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall witness Spark Brushel's testimony. Well, that's the thing, see? After we put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp, a so-called postage stamp, end quote. He was looking for a stamp. Ergo, he had no intention of using this stamp. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this commemorative stamp was in a frame. It was mere coincidence that he used it that night. That would seem to be the case. Or perhaps you mean to suggest that I can somehow manipulate coincidence. He does have a point. How would this witness know if the victim was going to use that stamp? Without that, he couldn't have planned the murder. What? Really, Clavier, you should be seeing through these weak-spined bluffs by now. He's right, though. How could anyone have known Mr. Mishram would use that stamp that night? Least of all, Christoph Gavin locked away in his cell. Well, it seems that the defense has run out of things to say. You assume he had something to say in the first place. I believe the defense's bluff has been called. The defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Christoph. Clavier? Honestly, I wanted to believe you, but the defense wasn't trying to get away with the bluff. You were, Christoph. What are you saying, Prosecutor Gavin? Herr Forehead, what was your accusation again? Huh? Oh, it was that this poison stamp killed Drew Misham, yeah? To which my brother responded thusly. There was no way to know when Misham would use the stamp. Yes, that's right, which is why it couldn't have been planned. Tell me, it needs to be planned? Why? Why couldn't it have been a coincidence? The defense's case is simply that Drew Misham died by that stamp, that's all. Coincidence? Christoph, you tried to slip out from under his accusation by changing the subject. If that's not bluffing, what is it? What are you up to, Clavier? I could ask you the same question, Christoph. Heh. I silenced the defense with the fewest words possible. It's called efficiency. But Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony. Very well, I shall take his claim head-on then. Justice. What? You accused me of Drew Misham's murder, yes? Then allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter? Apollo, motive. He's talking about a motive. Indeed. It's hard to see how an attorney could come to want to kill a painter. Now here's something. Why didn't he bring up the motive from the very beginning? Unless he was afraid it was a battle he might lose. So, what does it mean? It means there might be a weak spot. Maybe I have evidence to prove a motive. A motive for murder. This is a vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement. I'd say it's about this vital. That's pretty vital. Well, Mr. Justice, I'm going through with this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence. Then let's see what you have for us. What reason did Christoph Gavin have for wanting to murder Drew Misham?
Is it the forgery?
The
forgery or the letter where he was asking for the money to be deposited?
Oh, where is that anyway?
Is it gone?
Oh, this one. That's the letter you mean?
It's either that or the forgery.
Okay. Is there a particular one you want to go with?
Where's the forgery?
This is the forgery.
I think it's the red letter.
Okay. Christoph Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to Drew Misham's studio in the first place. And why was that? Forgery, Your Honor. Go back 7 years. Drew Misham accepts his first job creating forged evidence. I've seen that before. A page from a diary, wasn't it? Magnifique Gramarier's diary. I wonder if both could have worked.
Probably.
Ah, when Attorney Phoenix Wright lost his badge, yes. This was the evidence he presented. To his loss. This evidence is a fake, yes. But did Mr. Wright request the forgery be made? That was never proven. The defense attorney on that case was Phoenix Wright. Who, other than him, drunk with the prospect of victory, could have done it? And why would they? Just out of curiosity, do you remember this letter? This is the first page. and this is the second. Those were presented in court yesterday. This letter was sent to June Misham by the client who requested that forgery. The enclosed stamp was none other than the poison commemorative stamp. June Misham drew his last breath just the other day. However, the motive for his murder was already 7 years old. 7 years old. The client who requested this forgery was very cautious. He tried to erase anything and anyone with connections to the forgery, to keep them from talking. But he made a mistake. The stamp was a picture of my favorite magician, so I kept it. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. The killer's time bomb was delayed. The poison stamp was sealed within a glass frame, where it sat for 7 whole years. Air Forehead, do you understand what you're telling us? The one who schemed with the forged diary page was the one who poisoned the stamp, and it was Phoenix Wright who presented the forged evidence 7 years ago. Adding the two statements together, the one who schemed to kill June Misham was none other than Phoenix Wright.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not how this is going to go down. Oh, then how will it go down? I checked through the records on that case when I found this. 7 years ago, just before the trial began. Oh, old boy. Here. What's this? I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. And one more thing. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. I understand I am asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards, and that was enough. Phoenix Wright was put on the case the day before the trial started. He didn't have time to request a forgery. The day before... Now here's a question. Just who was Shady and Nigmar's previous defense attorney? No, this can't all be. But it is all true. There was another man, a defense attorney with a badge on his collar. It was you, Christoph Gavin. Order, order, order? What is the meaning of this, witness? I mean, defendant, former lawyer. Let me begin by denying this. It's easy enough to look up, Mr. Gavin, and impossible to prove if you can't. Attorneys are registered with the court the day before the trial begins. In other words, no record remains in the court. How exactly did you intend to prove Phoenix Wright's claim? That would be difficult. I'm afraid this line of inquiry won't yield. Air Forehead, are you sure you don't have evidence? What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks clammy. Evidence. Evidence that shows this man, Christoph Gavin, requested that forgery 7 years ago. Clavier? Just prove it. Clear up those doubts now, or I swear I'm off this case. He must have thought of some evidence, Apollo. Prosecutor Gavin looks like he's in physical pain. That darkness. I have to pull that darkness out of him, and proof is the only way I can. What proves Christoph Gavin's link to June Misham? Well, Mr. Justice, you claim Christoph Gavin requested a forgery of June Misham 7 years ago. Prove it. It can be proven. Simply ridiculous. Why even discuss it? This evidence does not... Are you telling the truth, Apollo Justice? I am. Then I say we give him the benefit of the doubt. Very well, but if you're wrong about this, be prepared for a penalty. Your Honor, you do the defense in injustice. Mr. Justice is clearly passionate about his claim. Should the penalty not match his passion? I haven't given a penalty like that in a long time. Well, Mr. Justice? Fine, Your Honor. All I have to prove is any kind of link. Something that ties Christoph Gavin to June Misham. And I have something that clearly does the job. Very well, Mr. Justice. Present your evidence. Show us the link between our witness and June Misham. So let's see. We have Magic Show ticket. Nah. Grimoire envelope. I don't think so. Vera's card. The coffee cup. Hidden painting. Red envelope. Which is a link, but that's not a definitive link. It doesn't say, "Hi, I'm Christoph." The letterbox. Tiny frame. The paintings. June's autopsy report. The handwritten page forged to look like Magnifi's. The nail polish. The commemorative stamp. Letter posted by Drew Misham just before dying.
That one, I guess.
It's the only thing I could think of. This evidence proves there's a link. That scrap of paper, I'm afraid I can't let you submit that. Is there some problem? There is. How could you possibly have that? You couldn't. Hey, that's Daddy's handwriting. Mr. Wright's handwriting? What is the meaning of this? Ah, I see now. Yes, of course. What do you mean, of course? I just remembered I had a visitor yesterday. Phoenix Wright came to my cell, except I wasn't there. Phoenix Wright? When I returned, I saw he had something of mine in his possession. Of course, I had no intention of letting him get away with reading my private mail. Mail? You mean this letter was in your cell? No. However, it appears Mr. Wright has yet to be cured of his bad forging habit. Well, if it's a forgery, it's not a very good one. The handwriting's terrible. This is Mr. Wright's reproduction of what was written in the real letter. Reproduction? When Mr. Wright visited Christoph Gavin's cell, he brought with him a small video camera. What? He recorded his entire conversation with you, Mr. Gavin, and the contents of your personal mail. Regardless, by the court. Evidence based on a video a man with no authority whatsoever claims he took. A man who happens to be an ex-attorney suspected of forgery. Prosecutor Gavin? Prosecutor Gavin? As embarrassing as this is for me to say, I'm afraid my brother is incapable of making rational judgments at the moment. Your Honor, your decision, please. The defense's claim is denied. What? Only actual evidence is permitted in a court of law. Please remove the defense's evidence from the record. Better luck next time, Justice. Well, still here, but... Well, we've surely taken a detour from our cross-examination, but the defense appears to be lacking proof. I'm forced to end the cross-examination of Christoph Gavin at this point. Apollo, do something. I'm thinking, but without evidence, I don't have anything I can use on him. Very well, this ends the special witness's cross-examination. The show's over, yet the crowd screams for more. Only now do I understand why. Prosecutor Gavin? Frankly, I'm relieved. This has been bothering me for 7 whole years. And I'm tired of the whole youthful angst scene. Now's our chance. Let's clean out the family closet, eh, Christoph? Clavier, you're spinning out of control. Calm yourself before you say something you'll regret. Spinning out of whose control, mine or yours? Take a moment to consider everything you've built. Your reputation as a prosecutor, your fame with the masses. You could lose it all, Clavier. Apollo, did you see that? He's trying to press prosecutor. You amused me, Air Forehead. I couldn't forget what's really important to me, even if I tried. In fact, I haven't, not even once. 7 years ago, Finally. You just couldn't resist, could you, Air Right? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. State your name and occupation for the record. I'm familiar with the trial. I've watched the video several times. Didn't you find anything unnatural about it? Unnatural? Well, you did seem unusually well prepared. I mean, Mr. Wright had only just presented his evidence. And the next moment you call in June Misham. It was almost as if what?
You got tipped off, right?
Huh. Funny, it didn't even occur to me to wonder. But now that I do, I see there's only one possible explanation. Almost as if from the very beginning, you knew Mr. Wright was going to present that evidence. Ah. Correct. I knew that if I applied the usual pressure, Phoenix Wright would eventually come up with that forged diary page. Don't do this, Clavier. I knew because you told me, Kristoff.
We said that you had a tip.
Yeah. What? It was the night before the trial. Clavier. Kristoff, odd seeing you at the prosecutor's office the day before a trial. I won't be appearing in the trial, actually. Huh? Why not? I won't be facing off with you on your first trial, apparently. But in exchange, I brought information. Information? The attorney who'll be there in my place tomorrow is not to be trusted. Don't even give him the benefit of your respect. Listen, I want you to call in a special witness. Then, I wondered about it at the time. How did Kristoff know so much? Prosecutor Gavin. Kristoff, we were supposed to face each other in that trial. A fair fight, brother to brother. I deserve that much. You let me borrow the victim's belongings. You showed me all your research on the case. The victim's belongings, which would have included Magnifi's diary, wouldn't it? Mr. Gavin? My, Clavier, you disappoint me. You find trees, yet miss the forest. You're the one missing the forest, Mr. Gavin. You can't sweep this under the rug, not anymore. Tell me what was going on behind that trial. Why not? I've achieved what I came here to do. I see no harm in a little reminiscing. Apollo? I think we're finally going to shine a light on the black belly of this thing, Trucy. We've done everything we could. I hope it's enough. 7 years ago, the day before the trial, I visited the detention center at the request of my client, Zach Grimarier. 2 cards. 1 card. Showdown time. Enough. You lose, Gavin. Thanks for the work, now go. To be honest, I don't know what his reasons were to this day. As far as I could tell, he dismissed me as his representation because I lost in a game of poker. I can come to no other conclusion. Daddy used to say something. If you want to know a man, you have to compete. Zach wasn't watching his points or the cards. He was watching the man behind the cards, Kristoff Gavin. I couldn't believe it. Phoenix Wright? A second-rate attorney who relies on luck and bluffs? He dismissed me and went with that pitiful excuse for a man? He deserved to die for that error alone. Hold it. So the one who requested that forgery was... Oh, I'm not admitting to anything. My point is, these 2 men chained me and I cannot forgive that. Phoenix Wright and Zach Grimarier both deserve what they got. So you asked Mr. Misham to forge that evidence, so you could win. But then when you were dismissed as Zach Grimarier's attorney, you used your forged evidence as a trap. You fed me information about the forgery you made. Then you gave your dirty evidence to him. You're free to imagine what you will. My point is that all I had imagined came to pass. Everything went perfectly. Ha. Ha ha ha. Incredible. If I wasn't laughing, I'd weep. Prosecutor Gavin? Perfectly. You're mad, Kristoff. Stop fooling yourself. What are you talking about, Clavier? Tell me, how did that trial end? Cancelled, when the defendant vanished. Ah, I get it. So, Kristoff, you've been living in fear for 7 years. What? You were afraid your forgery would be revealed and your reputation trashed. You couldn't leave things to chance, so you watched everyone involved with the case for 7 years. You know, he always felt like he was being watched. That's what he said, every day for 7 years. But I felt it too. Journalists sure he is being watched, end quote. Don't you wonder why Zachary Maria got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? Wait just a minute. Zachary Maria was seen by this reporter? How is that possible? Was he alive after being gone 7 years? Finally. I knew this moment was coming. I just didn't think we'd get here so fast. Zachary Maria gone missing for 7 years, Trucy's father. What's wrong, Apollo? Go get him. Right, leave it to me. Allow me to refresh the court's memory. 6 months ago, Kristoff Gavin was charged with murdering a mysterious traveler. I remember him quite well. Shady Smith, was it? Poison in a Chinese restaurant. What is it, Apollo? Huh? Keep going. We'll talk about it later. Did she already know? Someone please explain this. Mr. Justice, can you explain this? It all started 7 years ago. The great magician Magnifique Grimarier's death started it. Magnifique Grimarier's death and his student Zach Grimarie the suspect. Whoever defended Zach in court successfully would be famous beyond belief. Thinking that Kristoff Gavin did the unthinkable, he forged evidence. Drew Misham. Actually, it was his daughter, Vera, who really did the work. You took precautions when you had that forgery made, didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Precautions? To keep people from talking, of course. These two know too much. Leave them alive and there'll be nothing but trouble. That's when you planned your poisoning of the forgers. Atroquinine. Applied to a commemorative stamp. But luck was on Mr. Misham's side. The bomb didn't go off. His daughter, she saved him by taking the stamp, I see. But that wasn't the only bomb he set up. The Ariadone nail polish, of course. You noticed something when you requested that forgery. When Vera Misham is nervous, she has a bad habit. A tendency to bite her nails. Ah, that nail polish was her good luck charm. She was almost kidnapped once. Since then, she's been, well, you can see for yourself. She refuses to leave the house. That person gave me a good luck charm for when I absolutely had to go outside. It protects me. Yes, apparently she received something, a gift. She won't tell me what it was. It was from that client, the one who wanted that note made. It was his insurance. Insurance? As long as she lived quietly at home, there was no danger to her. But what if she had to go outside? If she ran into any trouble, she'd become nervous. And the nail polish would do the rest. His time bomb sat there for 7 years. And then they went off almost simultaneously. If you're finished, may I return to my cell now? I'm not accustomed to standing for such long periods of time. Mr. Gavin, have you heard a single thing we've said? Oh, I listened quite closely to your little tale. Quite an entertaining piece of fiction. What? Clavier, surely you understand. We're back to the evidence. The lacking evidence. Nothing proves a link between him and the atroquinine that took Mr. Misham's life. What about the restaurant? You killed Zachary Maria to keep him from talking. I killed no man of that name. Read over the report again if you like. The victim was a traveler by the name of Shady Smith, about whom we know little else. You can't seriously think I knew he was that particular fugitive. Okay, then why did you kill him? I plead my right to remain silent. Remember, this court did not convene to put me on trial. The defendant's name is Vera Misham, suspected in the murder of her father. My trial's been finished for 6 months now. I'm afraid we have strayed considerably from our purpose here. This court concurs with the witness. It is defendant Vera Misham who is on trial here. No, but you were doing so well, Apollo. As long as there is no evidence to support the accusation against him, this court of inquiry cannot find Vera Misham innocent. Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence. You still don't get it, do you? Let us assume there was poison in the nail polish. Who then was responsible for causing Vera Misham to bite her nails? What? It wasn't me, I know that much. The one who brought that poison to her lips was you. What? What? Evidence is everything. There's nothing more. I believe this discussion has reached its conclusion. Your Honor, Mr. Justice, you have performed admirably well for a novice attorney. I respect your partner Phoenix Wright's determination as well. However, without direct proof, you have nothing. Isn't that right, Clavier? Unfortunately, yes, Kristoff, you're right. That is, you would have been right until now. What? Did the news not reach your desk in solitary? The eyes of the nation are on this courtroom today. This is the trial case for a new judicial system. That's right. I totally forgotten. The jurist system. Jurist, you say? The current judicial system has been deemed too closed off from society. This new system attempts to inject the wisdom of common citizens into the law. Common citizens? Wisdom? Is this some kind of a joke? What could we possibly gain by doing this? Entrusting our judicial system to a mindless, emotional mob of irrational mouth-breathers? Common citizens have something called common sense. Common sense is not restricted by the law. Nonsense! There is only room for two in this court, me and the law. I don't think we've seen him make that face yet. Keep the riffraff out. Out, I say. They're not in the court, actually. They're watching everything by video camera. How can you allow this? Incidentally, the one responsible for making this happen... Are you ready for the ultimate meltdown?
Sure.
Was Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright? So, everything was leading to this, of course. Right. Right.
Oh my.
I can't accept. This is no court. Law. The law is everything. Law is absolute. You'd let ignorant swine soil your courts. Kristoff, it's over. Clavier. The law is absolute? You can't be serious. What? Odd, I thought you spent your life looking for loopholes. The law isn't absolute. It's filled with contradictions. The law is the end product of many years of history, the fruit of human knowledge. Like a gem polished to a gleam through trials and errors. It is this fruit we receive and pass on and face in our time. And it is always changing, growing. Nurturing it is our task as human beings. Except for you, Kristoff. You aren't changing. You've stopped. You're not needed anymore. I couldn't think of anything to say. Maybe because I still haven't seen enough. But someday I'll know what law is, and I'll fight to change it if I have to. I see no need to further prolong this trial. This began as the trial of Vera Misham accused of murdering her father, the painter Drew Misham. However, several other incidents were reviewed and we seem to have reached a conclusion. Before this court declares a verdict, I await your decision. Jurors of the court, for the death of Drew Misham, how do you find the defendant Vera Misham? Innocent or guilty? I turn to you now to consider this matter. This ends the trial for this case. Only the verdict remains to be decided. Defendant Vera Misham is currently in intensive care. If a decision cannot be reached today, it may never be reached. The factors involved are simple. Did the defendant poison her father that night? If so, she is guilty. Or was there another reason for Mr. Misham's death? Did another person poison him? If so, she is innocent. A panel has been provided for each of you to input your decisions. That is all. Please, wait. Yes, jurist number 6. There's something in the jurist handbook here. Persons involved with the case may not be jurists. That is correct. Applicant to all your dossiers, none of you were involved with the development of the case. With the development of the case, I see. Does that answer your concern? Jurist number 6 is... It's time for your verdicts. Make your decision in the case against Vera Misham. After 7 years, the truth is ready to be heard. Judge wisely, judge well. By the way, do you notice?
It's Lemire.
Mm-hmm. So not guilty or guilty?
Not guilty.
Jurist number 6 is Lemire. And so a verdict was reached on October 9, 2:14 p.m., the first verdict under the jurist system. Innocent by unanimous decision. The record will show that when the verdict was announced, special witness Christoph Gavin laughed. A laugh louder than any ever heard before or since. A laugh that echoed in the halls of justice, lingering for what seemed like hours. October 10th, 8:30 a.m., the morning after the trial, in an intensive care ward, a true miracle occurred. Vera Misham opened her eyes. Vera, I'm so glad. Don't cry, Apollo. I'm happy too, and proud. You did well, Apollo. When I thought about what if Vera... Hey now, don't you start crying too. I'm sorry you had to see us like this. Vera? Thank you so much, Apollo. Thank you. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pressed you like that. If I hadn't, you never would have bitten your nails. No, I was wrong. Staying locked inside like that, clinging to my good luck charm. Vera, when I opened my eyes and saw you, I finally understood. It's important to be part of the world. To see things with your own eyes. It looks like that poison had some effect after all. It killed off whatever was holding Vera back from life. I knew you'd pull through, Vera. I mean, that's what Apollo was fighting for the whole time. Your future. I won't forget it. Here, let me thank you. No, really, it's okay. Ooh, look, it's me. I love it. Thanks. Is that me? She really captured your essence, Apollo. Well, I think so, at least. That reminds me. Do you know where the other lawyer is? The other lawyer? Oh, you mean Daddy. Except he's not a lawyer anymore. It's my fault, isn't it? I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. No, it's okay. I'm through looking away from the things I've done. I hope I can look him in the eyes again someday and apologize. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that. He brought all those things for me when he came to visit earlier. You mean that stack of videos? Mr. Wright finished watching them all? You know, I knew my real daddy was alive. Huh? I was there 7 years ago, remember? I was the one who helped him vanish from the courtroom. You did what? How? I'm not telling. He promised me that day he went away. We may not meet again for some time, Trucy. But know this, I will be watching, and one day I shall return. You're the next Grimaria, after all. Oh, Trucy, in the end, he couldn't keep that promise, could he? It's okay, Phoenix is my daddy now, even if he can't really play the piano. That he can't. Oh, and I've got you too, even if your voice is kinda loud sometimes. Glad I made your list. Hey, come to think of it, where is Daddy, the one who can't play? Do you know Apollo? I think he said he had to meet someone. I wonder. Maybe it's a new mommy. Tee-hee. Oh, Trucy. Yes, Vera? I was wondering, could you show him to me once more? Sir Hat, was it? Oh, he's not been knighted. Yet. Here goes. Do us an impersonation, Mr. Hat. Objection! Ahem. Not loud enough, and I like this magic underwear better anyway. That's magic panties, Apollo. So, your memory's returned. Mr. Wright, was this all a part of your plan, too? I don't know what you're talking about. When I lost my memory, I was reborn as Lemire. But you know my true identity, did you not? That is why you chose me as one of your jurists. Ah, you're thinking into it too much. Besides, there was no guarantee that regaining your memory would make you happy. Of course it is a happy thing. For so long I thought I was alone. But now I know I have children, 2 dear children. I'm so proud of them. This too, I think, is thanks to you. Are you going to tell them? They do not know? Nope. They don't know their mother. They don't even know their siblings. I will go to them when the time is right. Until then, Don't worry, I'll take care of them for you. They're very important to me too. A little annoying at times, but still. I have to keep my eye on her at least. Because I'm the only one who knows how she really feels on the inside. Your bracelet. Yes? I've seen a lot of mysterious things these past 7 years. But your bracelets were the strangest of all. I remember meeting him half a year ago now in Christoph Gavin's office. And then I met you. 2 fates destined to intertwine, and I was there when they crossed. I'll never forget that. Such a small thing, that bullet, yet it tore who I was away. "10 years ago during a simple rehearsal. It was a miracle no one died, but I didn't survive that accident. That is why I left the troupe, my family. Now my memory has returned, I am myself once more. For the first time I am glad to be alive, Mr. Wright. Speaking of miracles, Vera Mishram regained consciousness this morning. I can only hope she's as glad as you are. It is a strange thing, fate. Sometimes a life is taken, sometimes a life is spared. You know what I've been thinking? People don't die that easily, really. As long as they've got something worth living for. And that's pretty much the end of my story, for now anyway. I've still got a long way to go, and this power of mine, well, it needs some work. But there's hope now. We'd lost it, but somehow we found it again. That's why people are smiling again. Hope. Yeah, I think I'll keep at this lawyer thing for a while. Oops, training time, gotta go. Courts of Steel, here comes justice.
Objection!
So how come Valiant didn't realize that Lemire was...
I'm glad you're staying with the agency, Apollo. It's like I found my long-lost big little brother. Oh, and don't you worry about Troop Grimarie. Truth is on the case. Now that I have this, thanks to Daddy. Truth Grimarie, frankly, I got my doubts, but Hack Grimarie? Now that'll pack him in. You're asking why didn't Valent realize who Lemira was?
Because he helped her do that dancing trick.
Yeah, it's true. It's not every day you get a trial that rocks harder than one of her gigs, yeah? That's why it's over. The Gaviners are breaking up. The news caused a run on tissues at supermarkets nationwide.
Well, they lost Darian, too.
Yeah. You're the real stars now. I look forward to our next jam session. Yeah, I mean, without Darian... Darian just had to murder, didn't he?
I think this case was too intertwined. These cases.
Well, it's finally over. You know, thinking about it, I've been a piano player longer than I was a lawyer. Now that everything's sorted and I've got time in my hands, maybe I'll take some lessons. Or maybe I'll take the bar exam again.
But he stole from a dead body.
So, you think the case was too intertwined?
Yes.
With what?
Each other.
You mean like the characters were?
Yeah.
Ah. I mean, definitely, like...
Well,
yeah.
Apollo is Lemira's daughter. Lemira was in the Troop Grimarie.
Yeah.
They're half-siblings.
Hold on one sec. So I was standing around eating Snap-Q's when I got this crazy idea. What if they were golden? You could augment the crunch, or better yet, make them ding. Ah, the power of science. Although the preservatives may not be 100% safe. Yeah, Apollo is Lemira's son. Trucy is the daughter.
They're half-siblings.
And that means they have a connection to Troop Grimarie. Yeah. Although, at least with the... In an unlikely event you are wanting Russian feast, come to Borscht Bowl Club. The only thing colder than restaurant is borscht. Ah, but if greater challenge is being required... Then come to the hideout. You know who to ask for. I mean, with the last case, though, it makes sense, because Wright set all of that up. So in his case, you know, he set it up with Apollo, and he knew a lot of this would come to light. So I guess that's different. Apollo didn't just stumble on this case and happen to be related to a bunch of people. So Kataki Pastries is getting back to its Eastern roots. Spread the culture. Yo, boss, culture time. This is how we write root, capiche? But we're still about giving back to the people. Yo, boss, PR time. And this is how we write people, alright? Not that Walkie's paying any attention. Whew, kids. Bazoy, Chinese characters on cake was a fly idea like 3,000 years ago, believe that. Man, you want to make it today, you gotta keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that's why I made the OG cracker, faux real. I know it don't look like no cracker, G. What, you want me to call it the OG muffin? I still feel so weird saying that. Ay. I don't know where all this talk about food is coming from. You ask me, there's only one food and that's noodles. Noodles forever. I got a new one too. See, this time I just put a big chunk of salt in the bowl. Why pretend? Eldoom's Noodles is all about salt. Salt forever. Ah, my man! My exceptionally inquisitive nature has won me unequivocal adoration in my department. You see, they used to call me Wesley Spinkler and Wesley Sticky Hands. But no longer. I have a new name, one that reflects my true academic nature. Wesley Sicko reporting. Yes, curiosity is a sickness, and I am the cure.
Or a sicko for stealing panties.
Yeah, I don't think he understands that. Ah, Eldoon and his harmonica. I don't know how to thank you for all you've done. Light has returned to my life, and with it joy. I may have lost years, but I have gained a treasure. 2 treasures, in fact. I will think of them when I write my next song. Brusher, brusher, brushel, brusher, brusher, brushel. Brushel here, back on the beat with another interview. How do I feel about how things turned out? No scoop yet, but journalist confident in mint condition. End quote. I've decided to keep painting, originals only, of course. I suppose I'll have to see a bit of the world outside to find what to paint. But I know there are good people out there now. I've met them. The door is open. The world is waiting. Thank you. In the music background section, AJA commemorative. Dual Destinies is the next game.
What's that?
That's the second game in this compilation.
Okay. Did you want it in this?
Yeah, why not? Or I can just stop sharing and then start a new one. So that's what I'll do. Okay.